Welcome, everyone, to the Minions of the Zoo Tuesday edition. I'm your keeper, Skep Tock, and with me I have Minions Prospero,
Hello.
Jenna,
Hola.
and Harry, the Harry channel.
Good evening.
And I hope all of you are well this evening. I'm having a good evening. Just it's a pleasure just having people to come be on the show. Last week I didn't have any guests because everybody gets busy. It happens every once in a while.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
no, that's all right. It just didn't work out. So I messed around with the AI a little bit just to show kind of what I was getting interested in, and then kind of called a halt to it. So it was a very brief show last week. So anyway, Prospero, what have you been up to?
No good.
Do you care to elaborate, or legal issues, or
No. I've just been messing about. We had a lot of rain on Sunday.
you're fixing to get more, by the way?
I know, but I don't
Just
know
looking
if
at
it's
Wonder
gonna
Map.
be quite as bad as Sunday. We had a lot of rain.
It's a day or two away.
Yeah, it's Friday. So what we're looking at. We're looking at gorgeous weather tomorrow.
Doesn't Richmond have a really strong rainy season?
Well, we have this winter.
That's the thing about.
Rain, but we have thunderstorms that can, are toad stranglers.
I love thunderstorms.
Yeah.
So, but mainly winter.
You get too much of them.
Season. Not like you though. We don't usually have sirens go off. So
yeah, I don't want Skep's ones.
Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, everyone.
And from me too. Happy Valentine's Day, and Saint Valentine, wherever you are,
with an
if you ever have existed. Yes, with the possessive.
Yeah, it always.
It's his day.
Crazy. It always drives me crazy when there's no apostrophe. I'm like, oh God, it's like New Year's.
Oh, Saint period Valentine.
No, they say Valentine's Day, and there's no S. There's no apostrophe between the E and the S when you say Valentine's. It's the difference between saying the plural of Valentines. There are a couple of Valentines there, and say Valentine's Day. This is the day of Saint Valentine, the one that belongs to Saint Valentine. So you use the possessive test,
like New Year's
possessive
Eve
form, and you have to include the apostrophe.
Like New Year's
barely
Eve.
Spell my name.
Also, see Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Right,
oh, yes. That was said by one of my coworkers years ago. She said Valentine's Day medium strip, which I was like, ooh, there's a steak in the middle of the road? Where? It was never appreciated. I just always got glared at. Oh, for Cynthia, the yellow shrub that blooms in
it's a weed in Texas. Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of weedy here too, but
yeah,
it's forsythia. For Cynthia. Okay.
For Cynthia, that's excellent. Yeah.
It's and I understand children mishearing.
Yeah.
Those words.
Dad used to trim his lawn in forsythia. It's the only reason I know anything about it. Used to have to chop the weeds out of the monkey grass and the forsythia.
I hate monkey grass. Monkey grass came out of the devil's anus.
Yeah, no,
it's monkey grass.
Monkey grass is a dick.
Liriope. It's
best with a rotary lawnmower. Those are the best. Maybe on a slightly wet day, rotary lawnmower.
Wait, now I'm gonna have to look up monkey grass.
I'm making smoothies.
No, Jenna,
which is quickly.
The name of the actual plant is Liriope. Liriope. And there are The variegated version of it does not spread as much as the solid green leaf version of it, but it is a rhizomatic plant, which means basically the only way to get rid of it is to sow salt in Carthage. I mean, you basically have to use an herbicide to get rid of liriope and then plant nothing where it was for a year until the soil can recover from the herbicidal application. Fire won't do it.
What if
I
you
was
put a
gonna
lightning
say,
rod in the
if
middle of
one
it?
of my kids are listening, do not set the lawn on fire.
The problem is, Harry, it will literally jump under a walkway. and by that I mean it'll slither in the dark, the little rhizomes. You try to pull up liriope and you find things that make bean sprouts look just massive. These little white threads. It's from the devil's anus.
Are you sure it's not extraterrestrial?
It might be.
Maybe that's what the balloons are spreading.
It might be that's what Anne McCaffrey was talking about in Fighting the Threads.
It's an interesting thing. You talk about the balloons. I had a thought that I have not seen other people talking about. What if China sent over not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 300,000 or 400,000 balloons, which is doable?
Oh, Happy New Year!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, in a place where everybody is a slave, you can make manpower very cheap, at least for a brief period of time. You could get something like that done. And then what would we do? Our skies would, in some places, become unsafe for airliners. Airlines just move too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be a very, very difficult situation. I just wonder if they're thinking about that kind of lowbrow asymmetric warfare.
Mm-hmm. I doubt
Helium's a finite resource. So if you literally tried to send 300,000 enormous weather balloons up, you would probably see the price of helium on the world market spike. And then you might realize something was up.
You'd have to do hot air. You'd have to do some kind of cheap burner, which is harder.
That would make it a lot easier for the missiles to get a lock.
Yeah, I was going to say in the Himalayan.
You'll never mess with a Sidewinder then.
I mean, I think the AIM-9s are doing a pretty good job considering they're locking on without a heat signature.
Well, yeah, but you know what they do.
They
set up a matrix and they say, okay, here are the heat differentials. Lock on this, and of course, it's easier to slip off those tiny differentials.
Need not to worry. Joe Biden has this under control. Trust in your government.
I know it. He has
inflation. Old Smeller?
I have to go on live myself.
He has inflation under.
I like that as a nickname for him, Old Smeller.
I think it's a great one.
So awful. That's our president. That's the commander in chief.
Mm-hmm.
The commander in chief of a military. I don't even recognize that.
Yeah, we've been sliding away
that
on
military.
Oh my god, for a while.
James. And the military is not the military that the military once was 20 months ago.
No, it's not. There's still
certainly not 45 or 50 years ago.
No, there certainly are a lot of people who are biding their time to see if things, if the winds shift, because there have been some, I don't know, incursions on those few rights that soldiers retain that are possibly going to be adjudicated. The public is in a state right now of wondering what is going on. I'm wondering if by picking a doddering old man,
Who never served, if I'm correct.
that is not a prerequisite to be president of the United States.
But I still think
nor should it be.
It eliminates so much of the population. Relatively few
It
people
eliminates
go into
an
the military.
enormous amount of the population.
I know, but
and it also encourages juntas. You know, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
They are the military, and it is convenient.
Yes, it is.
As long as I'm here, I'll take over the country.
And history is replete with examples from other countries. Well, then all pretty close to our own.
Starlin was lovely.
But I'm wondering if they haven't fucked too many things up at one time.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I got to tell you, I have the same concerns, Prospero.
There have been so many colossal failures. Hi, Transportation Secretary. Hi.
What the fuck is he even supposed to be doing?
I don't know. And I understand he wasn't responsible for what Southwest Airlines did. Oh, you know.
What did Southwest Airlines do?
Well, they have an
Go ahead, sorry.
They have an outdated software system, and it keeps failing them. And it managed to do some hanky stuff while we were having a major blizzard at the holidays. And so it was a compounding shit show, and people were blaming Buttigieg, whatever.
How was that his fault?
It isn't.
He caused the blizzard?
This is no. He didn't cause the blizzard. He didn't cause the software issue. But he is Secretary of Transportation, and he should have, like, within 24 hours, had the board of Southwest on a conference call going, "Fix your fucking software, or we're going to lose your license." Those are maybe the kinds of things the Secretary of Transportation could do.
Harry, do you happen to know who's behind how Southwest is set up? I'm sure it's some old client server architect. Tell me it's Oracle.
No,
it's Oracle.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the 2,500 flights that were canceled in one day, I actually read something about it, and I believe they weren't blaming the computer system as much as the model by which they basically crew their planes.
Yeah, because they did throw their pilots under the bus.
Well, it wasn't just throwing the pilots under the bus. It's that they don't use central hubs the way the other airlines do. So when it gets hard to get from point A to point B, they basically lose the ability to put crews together.
Yeah, I'm not sure that wasn't a bit of a blowing smoke to cover a really, really antiquated computer system.
Okay,
well, it's always fun to blame the computer system. There used to be a retailer out here called Fry's Electronics. And Fry's Electronics, for the longest time, used the point of sale system that was written by one of the brothers, the Fry's. And I know this because I know somebody who knew him in school, and he was putting this thing together. And for the longest time, you would show up at Fry's, and you would wait, I kid you not, on a medium day, like an hour to check out. You know, you just sit there, and you'd walk through the serpentine line of like 8-pound bags of Skittles and different things meant to sort of tempt you on the way out. And it was just the crappiest thing ever. So other than that one, I don't know of any other systems where I can blame technology. I think the excuse for the Southwest thing with the pilots sounds like it's slightly credible. Only because it's hard to imagine them being that incompetent with software. I mean, what specifically, well, okay, what do we know about the software? What is the problem with it supposed to be?
We don't. We have CEO says blah, COO says blah, pilots say, fuck no, that's not it. We had issues with our reservation systems before. I couldn't tell, you know, this is the problem with skimming articles. When it doesn't personally impact me, I'm not looking for the details.
Yeah.
So shame on me. I just got the impression that there are two narratives out there that.
Well, if you look to the wire stories and see what the what CNN officially said is just rereading the AP, which is the press release from Southwest, dolled up. But it says in October 2021, Southwest canceled more than 2,000 flights over a 4-day period, costing the airline $75 million. Southwest blamed that service meltdown on a combination of bad weather in Florida, a brief problem with air traffic control in the area, and a lack of available staff to adjust those problems.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
Don Lemon, in an interview with some guy, said that CNN has never been left-leaning with a straight face.
It's not a lean if you're horizontal.
Yeah, he actually has a gay face. He does not have a straight face.
Well, that was the joke.
I know. So was mine. So was mine.
Yes.
Yeah. He has resting disappointment face. Doesn't he always look disappointed?
He's got. I bet he
is
smells
catching up with him.
I bet he smells of regret and bad life decisions. I truly.
I don't think that's all he smells of. But
CNN is
just
always
saying
in the middle. You mother freaking liar! Didn't they fire your ass?
Well, they were when Bernard Shaw was there. They were a news agency.
Oh yeah, I remember when they used to do news. Remember when MTV used to play
straight
music?
Up to Iraq 1.
2000.
CNN was where you went.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight, and even the Yeep, I'm under the desk, Wolf Blitzer. That was fine. Okay. Nobody expected Edward R. Murrow on the roof watching the spotlights. We can understand that because weapons had changed. But starting during the Clinton administration, when apparently all those honey traps began to spring close on network executives and this, that, and the other, all of a sudden the worm turned. I mean, if you look during the Clinton years, that's when you watch journalists pick sides. And the big spoiler to occur is Fox News came along and provided a different voice. Early days, they did. They made a couple brilliant hires early days. Roger Ailes turned out to be a scumfuck, but as far as a news producer, he knew his business. And they scored Britt Hume from over at ABC, which was a big fucking deal. Because Hume was a good reporter.
Hume was one of the best reporters there.
Oh, God.
At a time when they had some talent.
Yep. And ABC ended up losing two of their better people over time, Britt Hume and John Stossel.
That's right. Stossel was at ABC.
Yeah, he was at ABC. He used to do those consumer reports for 2020.
2020, that's right.
And
God, that's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago, but you had solid. I mean, Hume went to high school in DC. Where
did he go to high school? Do you know? Do you happen to know?
I think he went to the Cathedral School. I'm not sure, but I think that's where he went to high school. But because he, oh, damn it. I wish I could remember. It was
He went to St. Albans.
St. Albans. Okay.
Yeah. So he went to Tony School.
Oh,
And then he went
yeah.
to UVA. Then he went to UVA.
What's
Undergrad.
Tony School?
A Tony School is a ritzy school.
Oh.
Yeah,
he was with ABC for 23 years, I see.
Yeah. Chief White House correspondent from 89 to 96.
So that was Clinton time.
Well, yeah.
89. It was the end of Bush and Clinton.
Yeah. And they started...
In my childhood.
And he shot over to Fox in 96, right as the Clinton scandal was breaking. And it's he actually got Clinton to walk out of a press conference, if I recall.
Brett Hume did?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I think he pissed him off enough that because the Lewinsky scandal began in 98. Hume left ABC for Fox in 96. His wife became the Washington bureau chief for Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And but I seem to remember it was during the Lewinsky scandal that something went down that pissed off Clinton enough that he was like, I'm done.
I was in high school when that happened, and let me tell you, the jokes teenage boys came up with about that dumb dress.
Mhm.
Well, the jokes we came up with about the cigars.
Well, let's not forget his malformed penis. That was good. That was good fun.
The dog leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in his penis's defense, it's
A first even
One-
for the minions of the zoo.
was to have to say, enter Hillary. You tried to run away too and break bones and just
Yes.
it was a tragic time for Bill's penis.
You're not wrong. It was
Yeah,
very
Tra-
it was
it was
very
a
active penis.
Time they had to.
It was a
Tragic
traveling
time.
penis.
Tragic time for Monica Lewinsky, the human humidor.
Oh no, I'm talking about that one time he had sex with Hillary to make Chelsea. It's when
Oh,
the penis
no.
Oh,
Webb
jeez.
stepped in there.
Okay.
It was okay.
I'm going to seize the reins of the,
Yes,
Webb?
please.
the stream
Tonight's
this
conception is
evening.
brought to you by Crown Royal. Crown Royal, when you got to get her done.
Never thought I'd
Always
speak
get
for
it in a paper
penis
sack because
before.
it can serve two purposes. Am
That's
I
right.
Valentine ale when you want a headache.
No, she likes
Speaking of
Crown Royal,
Valentine
though.
headache.
But I know once when she was trying to be a regular person on the campaign trail, she had a beverage and she ordered Crown Royal. Not Royal Crown Cola, Crown Royal.
Well,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
our seasoned moon pies wouldn't exactly. She would have tried to do that as First Lady of Arkansas, but I doubt she could have gotten
Well,
She's
through
from
one.
Chicago, isn't she?
She was
But
trying
she
to look
was First
fancy,
Lady
but
of Arkansas,
approachable.
Jenna.
But
Yeah.
she does hail from Illinois. That is correct.
Clinton was
she is
governor
one of the
Arkansas.
Rodhams. She's one of the Rodhams of a certain caste.
Mm.
And,
From a long
that-
line of strong-thighed women.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thunder
The pillars of Rodham.
Yeah. standing authority history and squatting.
Tonight on Minions of the Zoo, we pretend it's 20 years ago.
Well, why not
30.
relive the old battles?
Well, I mean, but the jokes were fast and furious with Bill Clinton.
Oh, they were.
Well, they wrote
But he made
themselves.
jokes about himself, and he could play that sax.
Yes,
yeah,
he could.
we like crazy, exaggerated characters for president. I mean, even Barack Obama in his normalcy was exaggerated that way because everything that came out of his mouth was essentially after the syllables had died away than anything else. There,
The thunder of the trumpets of heaven sounded every time he opened his mouth.
Well, that so we were informed, but and then we have Trump, which is kind of crazy time, and now we have Joe Biden, who I think is so far in cognitive decline that it's shameful
During
to have done this to him. Really,
Trump, and even during Barack, my children could eat. Unfortunately, it's whatever they can pick out of the neighbor's trash now. And that's not okay.
No. Sorry. That was well done. That was really well done.
what was?
But that Jenna's what the kids could eat. And now it's whatever they pick out of the neighbor's trash.
And
That-
we don't have many neighbors.
I know, especially year-rounders.
Rhode Island is sparsely populated.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah.
For good reason.
It's
See-
fucking cold. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, cold isn't the worst thing. If you don't mind a quick change. Well, no, we're not going to talk about that. Never mind.
Organized crime is the worst thing.
I
in
want to
Rhode
know what we're
Island.
not talking about.
Well, it's good to be
Probably-
curious. Keeps your
Yeah.
blood pressure up.
No.
Like I don't have enough health problems, thanks. On my gravestone, it will say, Harry wouldn't answer my question.
Don't you ever start to say something really innocent and then suddenly this little voice in the background said, I know where this conversation's going to end up and I'm not going to like it.
And then my brain damage goes, but say it anyways.
Yeah, no.
That's why there's
I'm
three
such a
people
tease.
without brain damage to
I'm
keep
such a
that from
tease.
happening.
Yeah.
I spoke upon...
Although my show wasn't yeeted, it was reported. No, mine got yeeted too. And it's okay.
Yeah.
We're all responsible for having shows yeeted.
So let's talk
When did
about
you get
Barack
here?
Obama for a moment. Because this is actually something I was thinking about earlier. Because what we're seeing is instead of retired military people becoming politicians, we're seeing community organizers becoming politicians. So Barack Obama was, above all else, a community organizer, right? That was
Right.
largely what he did before getting into politics. Nice springboard. And then, well, yeah, but that was the degree he had, but what he was doing was working as a community organizer. Now,
It's a fast talking position.
Okay.
yeah, and so we have a new mayor in Los Angeles, which honestly is a big enough city that it's bigger than some countries in terms of GDP and population. And Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles.
I believe it would be the 14th largest nation by GDP, Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
It's not an
Wow.
insignificant job to be the mayor of Los Angeles. It's almost as important as being the mayor of wherever Mayor Pete was from, America's mayor. But no, she was a community organizer
Indianapolis.
who got into
South Bend,
yeah, he was from South Bend. He wasn't Minneapolis.
I said
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
She said Indianapolis, but it was.
I was
he from South
incorrect.
Bend.
It's South Bend, Indiana.
I think it
A
was
little
anyway.
smaller, a little smaller.
got the state right.
Notre Dame.
But now we have another community organizer type, in charge of something important. since the politics of division is such an important thing, these community organizers have the same kind of power coming into politics that generals used to.
Yeah.
We really need to do something about this because in a lot of ways they're fundamentally unsuited for executive office.
Yeah.
Or unsuited to be generals.
or anything really. They tend to be ne'er-do-wells who just are opportunists, looking for a way to garner political power and nudge their side ahead. I think that their motivations, honestly, are often obscure and very often dishonest. And I'll say that on both sides.
Yes.
People who seek political office are almost by definition suspect with me. They really have they have a big hurdle.
And that's why decent people won't run for office, which perpetuates this spiral that we're in, because so many of us have reached the point that anyone that runs for office is suspect. People they do not want to be scrutinized by their peers who have already adjudged them failing. I mean, why would anyone in their right mind with a shred of decency run for office anymore? Because they're going to lose their decency, because they're going to be accused by people, unfortunately, like us, of being indecent for simply running.
Well, don't sleep with the interns. That's thing one.
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying is that we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater.
Well,
to the extent that we're not even,
we don't cut them any slack at all, is what you're
we cut them no slack, and we also provide no scrutiny. It's People
no
magazine
basis for making
politics. It's he's cute. I swear to God, that's how Justin Trudeau got elected.
It is. And
a bunch of women said he's dreamy.
He's not.
And I actually had a friend who was like, yes, but he's so much better behaved and better looking than Trump. And I'm like,
he's not better behaved.
Hitler might have been well behaved. For all I know, I never went
which
to
one
tea with him.
Tell me which one is creepier, Prospero. Trudeau sniffing your hair or Biden sniffing your hair? Trudeau. It's Trudeau, isn't it?
Trudeau, because
Trudeau would be weirder.
Yes, because
I'd be like, get away from my kid before I use.
He's younger,
and he's hideous, and he's all Cuban and shit.
Well, it's not that he's Cuban and shit.
Skep!
He really does have his dad, Pierre, ostensible dad, Pierre's nose. But okay, whatever. His parents were trash.
Just didn't have when he was a little boy.
His parents were trash. His dad was not that terrible a leader.
He didn't start out being a terrible leader. Well, he got terrible once he was in office. But it didn't start out too badly.
It's like Moonbeam's daddy. Moonbeam's daddy knew what he was doing.
Oh, Pat Brown? God, yes.
Pat Brown knew what he was doing.
Lord, yes.
And he did some positive things for California. He
killed Carol Chessman.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad thing.
That wasn't a bad thing at all.
The dams that were built. Send
me that.
Yeah, I like that. If you do not know what you're doing, neither does your enemy. Yeah, well, that was the 4D chess that people like to attribute to Trump, too. Except I don't think Trump's non-compos mentis. I don't think... My problem with Trump is I don't think he's as serious about the business that he was in that he needed to be. And then when the rubber hit the road and he needed to be serious, he didn't know which way to go.
He was a bull in a china shop.
Well, yes, he is a bull in a china shop. He always
Well,
will
I
be.
mean about when.
But there were some things that he was just too quick to reflexively go along to get along.
Oh, send me that one too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, boy.
Well played.
Sniffing blackface. Yeah. Yeah, good point. God bless us.
I love our chat. Trudeau would be sniffing here in blackface. I'd stab both of them. A well-behaved bimbo is still a bimbo.
Yeah.
For some reason, Costa owes me money, so pay up.
Yeah, actually, I think Assassin got it right. Prospero, Castro's bastard, whoever that is, got elected by suburban housewives who wanted to have his baby on those cold Canadian nights to snuggle up with Castro.
My problem is, you want to talk about preening narcissists.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but you can only be so narcissistic with that flop hair that Trump has. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro, Don. But, dude,
Bruh.
I think most of Trump's problem is he's overcompensating, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
That was a highly dysfunctional family.
Do I have to associate for his also, because Clinton and Trump? I'm not.
No, you don't need to advocate for Donald Trump's penis.
No,
we don't really need to go into
that because
I think all of us are
presidential penis advocacy
limit. Yeah, sure.
Penile advocacy. God, that's like community organizer.
Penile advocate.
All I can think of is, Barack Obama was kind of like Professor Harold Hill in The Music Man.
Mm-hmm.
He came in
River City
with a great spiel,
mm-hmm.
had it down pat, looked the part, played
T rhymes with P and it stands for pool.
Played the part, and then the musical instruments didn't show up. Instead, you had people like Susan Rice. Susan Rice is either the Peter Principle or she's Satan's handmaiden. I'm not sure which.
I think it's the latter. I think she's absolutely evil.
I think it
Rice?
It is too. Yeah, Susan Rice.
She's smart. She's smart. Right? Yeah, she's smart and evil though. She's not stupid. And evil.
She's smarter than Barack.
Tarmac lady.
Oh, she's not just tarmac lady. She's YouTube video lady.
What does she do on YouTube?
No. Jenna. Pay attention. Benghazi. Right. The whole thing kicked off because of a YouTube video out of Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she made a stupid YouTube, but no. Yeah.
No. She sold that bullshit. She sold that bullshit hard, and all the major networks lapped it up except for Fox. Yep. At that time, now Fox would lap it up. They would. They'd lap it up now.
Yeah.
And his whistleblower, that is a great...
Look, the guy in the background with the goofy grin on his face, it's like, yeah.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah, he was photobombing before photobombing was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny.
He's probably the pimp. What?
And things used to be so much more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Monica had some big hair, which just talk about Jen for a second. My hair is now to my shoulders.
Excellent.
Well, congratulations.
I miss it.
Congratulations.
But it was heavy and curly and it needed to die.
Monica and Bill. I see Diana. Hi.
Diana. Okay. Can we discuss Diana?
No, we're not going to
will-
discuss
no,
Diana.
Hey, that's a really good photo of Weinstein.
Mhm.
And of
Weinstein
Hillary.
the Hut.
Oh my God. It's just that stuff.
Oh, Hillary.
You know, it's funny. Somebody wrote a book years ago called Hollywood Babylon. And what is it now? Gomorrah?
We came, we saw, we died.
Hollywood Gomorrah? Hollywood Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yep. We came, we saw, he died. Speaking of which.
Yeah, and so did
three soldiers.
4 other Americans. 4. Yeah, a lot of guys had the shit scared out of them that night, and saw a lot of. What is with the spelling of Muammar there? Did you notice how Gaddafi and Muammar got? It was like, pick your style book, pick a spelling. Oh yeah, and she finds it hilarious. Yeah, because
Kamala wasn't the first person to try to cover stuff up with nervous, creepy laughter.
Oh no, not at all.
Hillary could certainly do it.
I still maintain that the whole thing was because Gaddafi was likely to blow the whistle on the fact they were running arms out of Libya.
Shh, we're not supposed to know that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was a disproportionate reaction. And a disproportionate lack of reaction of the most readied force on the globe at the time. That a bunch of guys in Italy just couldn't find their airplanes and get to Libya in time. They acted like Italy was on the other side of the fucking pole from Libya. I mean, there are people floating on rafts to Sicily, for Christ's sake. I mean, learn some geography, American citizens, world citizens. Learn some fucking geography. Take a compass. Measure the mileage.
That's why we invented GPS, so we don't have to learn geography.
Yeah, well, fuck that.
We can bomb any place on the planet with a push of a button without even knowing where it really is.
Yeah, except we couldn't get to Libya. We couldn't get to Benghazi. It was like suddenly it was lost in a sandstorm. I'm surprised they didn't try the Haboob bait and switch on this. This still pisses me off so much. So goddamn much. I remain angry that this kind of fucking around was going on.
Yep.
It took me a long time to realize who the neocons, neolibs, what that amorphous blob of warmongering fuckwads were.
Did you read any of her leaked emails? Because it'd make for very interesting reading.
Yeah.
Listen to this as long as we're on the subject.
Can't hear it.
You can't hear that?
No.
Oh, darn it. Hang on. I even shared the audio and everything. A shame.
Go to the audio button and try turning it up on the screen.
Just hit the side of the monitor with your hand. Forcefully, but not too forcefully.
I'm not telling them beat crap up.
Lift the front of the Apple III about 2.5 inches above the surface of the table. Drop it.
Rename System 32 to System 64. Just twice as fast.
So much faster. All right. Well, I'll work out what this is. This is really a good put together of Hillary Clinton doing that. I can't believe The audio is not coming over. Why is the audio?
If you want to talk about how evil Hillary Clinton is, you don't need to go with the stuff that came out before the election with Trump.
Yeah.
Where they were listing all the things the Clinton Foundation did that looked a bit skeevy. Going back to, what is it, about 2009, when God, the guy who died with the dickish brother in England.
Oh,
no.
One.
Hitchens. Here Peter Hitchens go off on the Clintons. In the Clintons plural, not just Hillary.
Chris Hitchens.
And
not Peter. Peter's the douchebag who's still alive.
I didn't really realize just how terrible they were until I heard Christopher Hitchens start laying it out, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty bad.
God, what was amazing is for a person who started out as a Marxist and who remained left of center in his politics, how much Chris Hitchens despised most of the power structure of the Democrat Party in the United States. He despised them. And particularly
he had a rare power. Well, his superpower was that he was a smart guy who made a lot of public statements, but still managed to be able to change his mind and admit when he was wrong. That last part is very rare.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and as a result, it made him, in discussion with Marxists, very entertaining. Because it was a little bit like Thomas Sowell's incredible grasp on economic matters and social matters to an extent. Being a Marxist,
excuse me,
stopping being a Marxist teaches you a lot.
How many Nobel Prizes in economics has Mr. Sowell won?
I don't know.
Is that
0?
none? Is that 0?
Yeah, that would be none.
No clue. It could, but honestly, it wouldn't. If it was 9 or 0, it wouldn't change my mind about him one way or the other. Because in some sense, I sort of don't care what the Nobel Committee thinks of him.
This actually has nothing to do.
It's to his credit that he does not have a Nobel Prize.
It absolutely is. He's not Craven. He's not a Krugman. As far as I'm concerned, a Krugman it's like the word quisling, named after a Baltic trader in World War II. And
Norwegian.
So it's Baltic.
Okay.
It's pretty Baltic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Mediterranean. Anyway. So
I always think of the Finns when I think of the Baltic.
I had something I wanted to say a while back that I just remembered. It has to do with the soldiers, but it was a World War II soldier I saw doing an interview. Still alive, kind of. He was talking about the world today and how this isn't what he and his brothers fought for and died for and lost everything. And he's 99 or something, and just ended up in tears talking about how all these soldiers from World War II lost their lives for nothing because of what has been done to the human race.
I understand how someone of his generation would feel. How they would feel nothing but despair looking at the major information of the news cycle. But certainly what they went through was not in vain. We can't imagine what this world would be like had Adolf Hitler succeeded.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
In controlling Europe. There's no
Jesus Christ.
There's no
Controlling France? Oh my
I don't
God.
even want to
imagine
that.
There's no imagining what that would have been like.
The Mediterranean would have been closed.
Yeah,
potentially, because he would have linked up with Spain, and that would have been that.
Well, he would have assassinated Franco and taken Spain, because Franco was doing the bidding of the West, and that would have pissed him off, and he would have done him in.
I think Franco would have
caved on his own
very quickly as soon as Germany started winning.
I don't think he would have lasted, though.
I think you might be right, because he was too much of a strong man.
Now, the trick of the matter would have been, had Hitler achieved Operation Sea Lion. I mean, there would have been guerrilla fighting in the British Isles. It would still be going on today. But what would Stalin have done? Had all of France gone, and Sea Lion been successful, what would Stalin have done? Because you can't imagine anything more unholy as an alliance between Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin.
I'd rather not think, but
so it wasn't in vain.
And I think,
not to mention what Chojo would have done, had they not been stopped.
I think what he was alluding to, thank you, alluding to was not that, yes, they won, and yes, positive, but if you were 99, almost kind of alive, man, and you saw what was going on. I mean, I'm something age, and I still think, what the hell has happened, and when did we lose control?
When did we cede control?
We never had, and I understand that, and there's no such thing as...
I'm afraid we didn't lose control so much as we ceded control.
Yeah, this is,
and there's a difference. There's a painful difference.
Yes.
I have a question for Prospero. I always forget to ask you this question. I've wanted to ask you several times on the stream. Are we going through a change like what Britain went through after World War II, where we're going to spend the next 25 years basically retaining about 25% of our power? Do you think that's going to happen to us? We are big and beefy. We got a lot of room. We got a lot of resources. We're mostly self-sufficient.
I don't think so. Because because the external, Britain had no internal control at all.
What do you mean by internal control?
They were fucking broke at the end of the war.
Okay? Oh, I got you.
They were broke. And I hope no Brits listening tonight take this the wrong way, but they like to get really kind of pissy about the Marshall Plan.
Yes.
But without it, holy fuck, bro. Also,
what's wrong with the Marshall Plan?
Americans and their swagger and their we rebuilt Europe and we made you back and blah 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 blah.
Well, also we did do that.
Yeah, but don't remind them of it because it pisses them off, because they'd have beat Hitler eventually on their own, right? Okay, got it.
And their Spitfires.
Is it okay if I remind the French about it?
It was going swimmingly, by the way.
Imagine a speed bump.
Yeah. That's Belgium's fault, though. I swear to God, that's Belgium's fault. They refused to cooperate with the French. It was border snottiness.
No, it was also memories of World War One.
And
when the Belgians fought like lions and got
the
absolutely
French
fucking massacres
like a
in
goddamn house of cards.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Belgians. Yeah, listen,
but
I was literally listening to people who were in that shit. And
it was old grievances.
They hate the fucking French.
It's old grievances.
Oh yeah.
I heard de Gaulle won the war.
Yeah. Fuck that cunt. Oh my God.
It was de Gaulle and Montgomery, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the dynamic duo.
They marched into Naples together.
Yeah, Mr. Hyde in London and Operation Market Garden. Yeah, right. So anyway, sorry Brits, but fuck you, Eisenhower.
Someone has to liaise with the Queen.
Wait.
Somebody has to liaise with Churchill.
It's ours.
That's what I said. Fuck you, Eisenhower. Not fuck you, Eisenhower, but fuck you.
Not many people had the resistance to gout necessary to liaise with Churchill.
That's it. To liaise with Churchill, de Gaulle, Montgomery. I mean,
I think the French might be the person to send. You know, it's like some strong Armagnac between every course, and you might actually keep up with him.
My kids watch something called Horrible History, but it is actually about history. Yeah. And they have one about Churchill and how he just worked and worked and worked, and his people haven't slept in whatever. It's comedy and trying to teach the kids. And
Churchill was remarkable.
Yeah,
he was also a giant thorn in Eisenhower's side. He had to be caressed, and caressing Winston Churchill was no easy task. A lot of people, I think, raised their eyebrows when Marshall put Eisenhower in that role, and it turned out to be a very, very wise choice, because you had a soldier who could also quietly administer and let the gum flapping occur without losing his temper.
He was also really smart about understanding how to manage the personalities.
Mm-hmm. And those were wildly disparate personalities. Like Churchill's strength was one particular strength. Monty's was another. And I'm not denigrating Field Marshal Montgomery. He had some remarkable successes, but he was also a bit of a banty rooster. De Gaulle was just a giant penis. With a
I will not be
with a cap.
No.
I mean, he just had that precious little cap and an ego the size of all outdoors, and absolutely nothing to cash the check on. Yet Eisenhower had to baby him and kiss his ass, and de Gaulle was refusing to address the French about the fact that it was friendlies who were coming in on D-Day, unless he had concessions. What a fucking asshole.
Well, he is French.
Yes, but no, the Free French had been fighting like dogs. All right, they're
about 2 years after we got back to the United States. That's about 1965 or so. 66. De Gaulle threw all the military bases, all those U.S. Army and Air Force bases, the ones that saved their asses.
Mm-hmm.
He threw us out. And and you know the story, of course.
Dean Rusk.
Dean Russ message. What about the dead soldiers? Do you want them to leave too?
Yeah. Shall we dig up our dead out of Normandy and take them home too? Yeah. Fuck you. Fuck you, de Gaulle. Fuck you. Fuck him. Fuck him for Christmas. He was a piece of shit. Somebody should have. There was a general.
You should have heard my dad when he came home and told my mom that they threw the Air Force out of France. I mean, we went to the Law Air Force Base, probably 20 or 30 times in the 4 years or 3 or 4 years that we were over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, my father was displeased on principle, just because how dare you?
My father wasn't alive.
It was just an ugly, shitty,
unnecessary goddamn thing to do.
But my dad explained it to me. He said, you have a guy in de Gaulle who he doesn't want anything to come before France. And, and I was like, I was like a little seventh grade, 8th grade kid. And, saying, well, doesn't he know we're the greatest country in the world? Well, he doesn't feel that way. How can he not? Anybody can see we're the greatest country in the world. And I was America first.
The other thing?
I didn't know about Brunei. Anyway, so or Monaco for that matter. Well, actually, I did know about Monaco then. In fact, I'd been to Monaco and San Marino. But yeah.
What about Indochine? Do you think maybe some of that was sticking in de Gaulle's gut, that we were the ones already in Indochine?
No, I don't think that figured into his calculus. He thought that was unimportant. He really did think that was
well,
unimportant.
I know he did. He left the Japanese in charge of policing the Vietnamese after.
He absolutely did not give a shit about that. He was a complete French nationalist.
Yeah,
he wanted out of Algeria too. That was another thing.
Well, there's another failure of Harry Truman's, because Ho Chi Minh turned against the United States after Truman refused to do anything about the Japanese presence that remained in Indochine, because Ho came to the United States for help.
Yeah.
First, about getting the French out of there because of how they were behaving. And Truman just was like, And then, boy, did that chicken come home to roost.
Yeah.
56,000 people later.
Yeah.
God, that's a low ball. That's a low ball.
Well,
56,000.
Doesn't count the Vietnamese.
No, it doesn't count the Vietnamese, and it doesn't count
the course of that war.
It doesn't count the suicides and the people that died from Agent Orange exposure and all the other.
Plus the 1 million people, the 1 million people who were massacred when we left South Vietnam.
Yes.
1 million people died.
Yeah.
And you'll never hear the left talk about that. You never hear any of the advocates for the.
It was one of their great victories. God damn it!
Oh yeah.
They won't talk about
doing
the
it right.
we lost.
Yeah,
a year and a half ago. Why would they talk about people?
You're not wrong, Jenna.
No, it's they're comparable, but not on scale. The failure of leadership, and the failure of pre-planning, and the failure of all kinds of things, including political will, is comparable. Fortunately, the scale isn't quite that high yet. They'll get around to it. Trust me. But
well, no, I'm not taking away from any of the.
Oh, no, I know you're not. But I mean when we turned tail and ran out of Afghanistan, there's no other way to describe it.
We didn't turn tail and ran. The president turned tail and ran.
I meant we as a nation. To the appearance of the world, Jenna. It doesn't matter who made the decision. To the appearance of the world, the United States turned down and ran.
Yep.
Just like they did in Saigon.
Jenna is just speaking up for,
Oh, yeah.
the troops and those comrades over there. Who
I didn't agree to it.
did the
At least
bug
she's
out.
not defending presidential penises anymore.
Yeah, I
Thank
know.
God.
Oh, I'm so glad to be done with that. I can't believe you made
That's
me
right.
do that.
Talk about Taft. It's like, yeah, some people say he couldn't find his penis, but he knew it was there somewhere.
Look,
That's why he spent so much time in that big bathtub he had made.
Well,
for
because he couldn't
himself.
get out.
Well, no, because his little buddy could
Suction.
float.
Suction's a
hey,
problem.
let me tell you, a high up enough bathtub and a small, you know where those kids are.
Really spreading the toes on that clawfoot tub.
That is funny. Oh, that is funny.
I've got the
God, I'm
image
tired.
of porcelain being warped out of shape.
Yep.
Porcelain over cast iron just being warped out of shape.
Yeah, we need to bring back being openly anti-communist. I think that's a thing that needs to be in vogue again.
Never went out of style with me.
No,
Mm-mm.
Never went out of style with
I'm
me.
sorry, I will not be a communist. You'll have to kill me.
Hey, man, even if you're an ally, you get to face the wall. So it's
yeah, there aren't a lot of things
I don't
that
know
I
how
hate.
to tell you this, but I'm not.
communism's one of them.
Yep.
It really is horrible because it is so utterly robbing of initiative. It rewards the person who maintains the status quo ante. That tomorrow has to be just like today. It stifles innovation. It crushes any desire to strive. And this business, well, they'll do it for the good of the state. Bullshit. That has not been shown to be a successful motivator when it comes to the struggle for nationhood and national prosperity. Sorry, that's not the way that works.
How much money did Justin Trudeau's dad die with when Castro passed away? I mean, how rich was that son of a bitch? It was a lot of money.
$1 million.
It was a lot more than $1 million.
I was quoting
Yeah.
a movie.
I mean, he was really rich.
When he fell off that stage, that was so funny.
No, only 900 million. He really only
That's plenty. That's pretty
Only
rich considering that
900
Cuba
million?
is incredibly poor.
Yeah.
How hard do you have to work to squirrel away 900 million in Cuba?
That is a successful businessman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you
what a
know,
successful guy.
I'm so glad that he was able to make sure that they had land they could grow crops on and cars that were made before any of us were born, so that, and clean water. I mean, you hear it all over schools about how horrific that Cuba is about the lack of freedom, and I just have to say, I wouldn't
It's a
buy
worker's
crops from
paradise.
anyone else.
No, it's a worker's paradise.
The bike I ordered, it works great. Sure, my kid got tetanus, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, tetanus. Yeah.
Yeah, tetanus.
That old thing.
We hardly even vaccinate for it.
Let's go back to the good old days. No, well, not before the tetanus shot.
Yeah, no kidding. You want to go back to the good old days? I got one word for you. This is from Seinfeld. Dentistry. Yeah.
No.
Try getting a tooth pulled in 1890. Let me know how that works out.
Enjoy the
morphine.
Wasn't it like usually by the local bar owner, or no, the hair cutter person?
The barber.
The barber. No, by that time, the dentists were starting to populate the cities. But I mean, if you went out of town, yeah, there might be, a shaman lady in town, or a barber or somebody who would do that sort of work.
Here, have some of my special whiskey. It's got laudanum in it. Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Here, let me numb that for you. What are you rubbing in it? Oh, just some of this cocaine.
That's it.
Those are the good old days.
They could get 5% cocaine solution in saline. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And do you know what that would be worth? Yeah. Does Cuba have billionaires? It has one.
Well, almost.
Cuba doesn't have $10 ears.
Well, what's the current state of Cuba? I mean, it seemed like things were sort of on the road to recovery, and I haven't heard word one about Cuba for about 2 years.
Well, here's the thing. So they give a little bit, like they'll be like, oh, sure, you can open the sew shop. But then you'll be paying this much to the government, this much to just check who's in charge.
Well, they do that here too.
And but
Yeah.
oh, wait, we're sorry. You may no longer have that sew shop. We don't like something that your brother's uncle, cousin's, nephew's sister said.
Oh, you're going to love the Saturday show.
What?
Do I need to be on it?
No, I'm just got something that'll illustrate my point that's coming on Saturday.
Excellent.
I'm going to have to be on it.
Uh-huh.
If you're awake, sure.
Yeah. As of 2022, the Cuban embargoes, trade embargoes, enforced mainly through the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917, the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961, the Cuban Assets Control Regulations of 1963, the Cuban Democracy Act of 1992, the Helms-Burton Act of 1996, and the Trade Sanctions Reform Export Enhancement Act of 2000. Anybody want to go to law school? Why? I'm
Not particularly. I just know that Havana Club started showing up, although it was, in many cases, the shitty knockoff Bacardi version of
Cuban
Havana
cigars.
Club.
Cuban cigars are still illegal. This is. Can I bring Cuban cigars back to the U.S. In their facts? The simple answer is no. Cuban cigars are illegal, and President Donald Trump reinstated a hard line against Cuba, and now no Cuban goods can be brought into the United States. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection website explains the current regulations and so forth.
Well, that explains that.
They enforce that border, but they can't enforce the giant one along Texas and the Rio Grande. But
if I could sail Mexico about 20 miles worth of waterway away from the United States, that would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, it would.
Prospero, you don't understand.
You know how rough that would
AOC
Mm-hmm.
said that they haven't done anything illegal, and you can't separate them from their children. They have a right to seek asylum, and they don't have the right. They don't have to do it legally because they are just poor, horrid people, horrid land. And then if you call it a hellhole, then you're a racist son of a bitch.
Well, yes, but
they have to leave because it's so horrible, but it's not a hellhole. So make your mind up there.
Okay, here's something else.
Maybe it's a hack hole.
Here's something else AOC did, which is really pretty funny. She got all bent. She got all bent out of shape about the Jesus ads that ran during the Super Bowl.
Jesus.
Wait, what Jesus ads?
Okay, it's an ad campaign called "He Gets Us All" or something like that. Jesus, He Gets Us All.
Oh, so it was just a little bit of a religious commercial or 2 or 3 during the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yes.
Rah, God.
God. Yeah, but here's the point. During Christmas, That same organization was running ads likening Mary and Joseph and Jesus fleeing Herod's execution of all the infants, you know?
Up to 2.
Right. The massacre of the innocents. To asylum seeking. That they were refugees.
Well, sure, it's the same thing.
But the thing
What
is,
the fuck?
Clear to me now.
Okay, here's the thing. This organization did the big time stupid comparison that is lefty as shit, right? That is leftist mantra. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were refugees. They were illegal aliens in Egypt.
Wait,
No.
what?
God told them to go there. He's the creator.
Okay. Jenna, give me a minute. I have heard lefties tout that shit, Harry, for years. That Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, in fleeing Herod's order of executing all male infants under the age of 2 into Egypt to illegal aliens.
Alrighty then.
Fleeing horrible, they're fleeing horrible, they're fleeing horrible. And it tends to be more of a leftist point of view. It is a bit of a twist of the telling of the tale out of the Bible, but there you go. AOC lost her shit about this same organization because of the messages that they had up for the Super Bowl.
AOC.
She must have missed their more left-leaning ad. I find that hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. If you go look up this organization, I think it's He Gets Us All, and look up their ads, you will see that it is pretty much apolitical. But it was a big clapping pain in her ass because, after all, in her tiny little mind, apparently, all Christian messaging is right-wing. She likened it to fascism.
Jesus is not a fascist.
I guess he is in AFC world. This is, I mean, you talk about not hating much of anything, Harry. I hate people's brains on communism.
Amen.
Well, pretty much everything about communism is bad.
Yep.
I
But
just
that's
read
what you get. You get that kind of moronic bullshit coming out of Joy Reid and AOC about a couple of ads. You know, Tim Tebow had his football career destroyed by these kinds of people. I know.
And then he married a supermodel. So, ha, to all you suckers.
Yeah, and he also just recently provided a whole bunch of differently abled kids with a prom night.
Well, he does that every year.
I know, multiple churches that, you know, participate in his foundation. But, you know, the war against Christmas, the anti-Christian complaining that some of the right do is overblown. They're constantly looking for examples that they think are anti-Christian. However, as a non-practicing cultural Christian, it is abundantly clear to me that it is open season on just losing your shit over anything having to do with Christianity.
Big time.
And I'm like, gee, why Christianity in particular? AOC can say hateful things likening Christians to fascists, but Kanye's in trouble because of his remarks. Should they not be on par with each other?
Well,
I mean,
Kanye is a white supremacist.
But shouldn't they be on par with each other? He said rotten things about Jews. AOC says rotten things about Christians. I'd like to see a little parody when it comes to stop saying rotten. I mean, we're all told we can't say jack diddly squat about Momo, but
it's interesting what CNN dug up about the He Gets Us thing. They said some of the campaign's major donors and its holding company have ties to conservative political aims and far-right ideologies that appear at odds with the campaign's inclusive messaging.
You're far right if you wear a shirt with an American flag on it.
And they present no proof. They present nothing to support that assertion.
Well, they do present proof. What they do is they gish gallop you into submission. When one of my very smart but very liberal friends was worried about my immortal soul, they sent me this thing about Milo Yiannopoulos, like somehow I'm responsible for Milo Yiannopoulos. The provocateur, like he's my fault. Somehow I have to defend him like Jenna defends presidential penises. And I just looked at this thing, and it was an article from Vox, and it was page after page after page of minutia. And at a certain point, I'm just like, I don't have time to read all this gish galloping crap.
Right.
But thank you for telling me about the Mercer family, because I kind of wondered where Milo was getting all his damn money. At a certain point you go, how is he affording to do all this? Give free lectures and go around and hire, guys to carry him around on a litter or a dais or whatever the thing was, the thing where he was seated. Yeah, I mean, he would do all this sort of stuff. So it was actually worth it for me to read the first half of it. But at a certain point, it's like, how do you even have a discussion with somebody when they gish gallop you with so much minutia? Because they can't get into the real facts of it.
You can't have a conversation with a person who isn't
open-minded,
intellectually stable.
Actually,
hold on a second, really quickly. The issue to my mind is that progressives either have no ideas or they just gish gallop you to cover up for the fact that they have no ideas. Sorry, Prospero, go ahead.
No, you're right. But and they also engage in jury nullification through ad hominem.
I don't think they even know they're doing it. It's
no,
like
no, they don't.
No,
they have no idea. They're like, well, that person has ties to a conservative organization, therefore they are evil and fascist. It is a form of ad hominem attack. Or what don't they engage in? Reductio ad absurdum.
Ad absurdum.
Ad hominem. Pejorative. I was engaged in a conversation on Facebook. Very, very briefly. It'd been a long time since I'd commented on something, but I did. Because there was a discussion going on about, God help me, something about the Civil War and slavery came up, and an individual made the mistake of using the phrase, the South was, basically saying the South was married to the labor pool they had. And this person took labor pool and said, way to whitewash history, you racist. And I said, there's nothing incorrect about the term that they used. However, assumptively, jumping to a conclusion that they're racist. And then, because I pointed out that labor, there wasn't anything the matter with that. And also, were the Greeks racist against Greeks? Romans against Romans? The Khanate against Asiatics? Labor pools of slaves, because that's what they are. Labor doesn't imply payment, okay? Just saying.
It just implies labor.
It just implies labor. So there was nothing wrong with a woman using that term. Maybe I could understand that somebody might be, it's a little insensitive. Well, okay, you could gussy it up a little bit one way or the other, but whatever the fuck. It doesn't change what she was saying. And this person, of course, accused me of whataboutism. And I said, I'd rather stand accused of whataboutism than being a reflexive hurler of pejorative with no evidence to support that. And of course,
pejoratives are rarely supported by evidence. That just sign of a weak mind and a weak argument.
Yeah, you're a racist. The minute somebody says you're a racist, you're a fascist. Okay. You know, the little golden book of everybody I don't like is, and this is my favorite. I don't break for communists. Yeah, and everybody I don't like is a communist. But it is
a little golden book.
It's a fake little golden book.
Damn it!
But this person came back and,
I just noticed it said MAGA on the shirt of the person driving.
Yes.
Oh, it does.
I've seen this 100 times and I never noticed it said MAGA on it. I like the Antifa t-shirt on the person being run over.
Yeah.
Susan, we're not threatening real violence, so shut up.
Yeah.
You bent.
This is actually a photo of what happened to
Not
me.
even a watery one.
No.
A dint of bent.
That's my leg going the wrong way.
It's Faustian bargain, Charlie Brown. Oh. It's a Kafka trap, Charlie Brown. Either way, it would work. Jacques. That's the thing that I hate about social media is, the trial. Kafka's the trial, but the whole, the affair that Jacques comes from. Skep, help me.
Camus.
Yeah. The trial of
well, I use that phrase during the
Emile Zola. Emile Zola. That's the one.
Not
Camus. Zola.
Yeah.
It was Zola.
It was way too late.
Yeah, because Nietzsche. I'm not Nietzsche. Kafka wrote the trial, but you have that kind of historical coincidence of similar time periods giving you stories where no matter what you do, you're screwed. And that's what I hate about pejoratives, especially you're racist, because when you say I'm not a racist, I blah, 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 blah. Well, that's precisely what racists say. That kind of superior answer that these twats give you, or the concern trolling that you got from your liberal friends, Harry.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't concern trolling. They legitimately were worried about my immortal soul.
I know, but at the same time, it has the stink of it. Because it's like, number one, bless your heart. Number two, what? Who put you in charge of my immortal soul? When did I ever indicate to you that I needed help with my immortal soul?
Humble Viagra salesman.
Yeah. But put me in charge of your mortal soul.
Yeah. That was one of the most uncomfortable commercials I have ever.
It's like, I don't want to think about Bob Dole's dick.
No, I don't. I
don't want to think about Bob Dole and Liddy Dole. I don't want to think about.
Exactly.
I don't want to think about any part of it.
Afterwards, I thought, run and hide, Liddy. He's got the blue pill.
That's right.
Tonight on Minions,
he's got that pen in one hand, and
penises and people that ran for president will be mentioned.
The late people,
at least every half hour, sometimes more. You are welcome for this edition of Your History in Politician Penis.
Nobody's discussing Bob Dole's penis. No, we are not going there. It was a Viagra commercial. It was about the potential functioning of his penis, but we didn't ever see it. He didn't wave it around.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
Weird.
making a commercial
It
for
didn't burst into
midgets.
frame.
Yeah, he didn't share it with
Hello
anyone.
there.
There was no load on any
The
dress
thunder from down
committee.
under. Bob Dole's
Anything-
penis.
That was the sort of thing that used to remind us that people like Bob Dole were human.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know, now we kind of don't. Social media brings us so much closer to the people we watch. You know, like everybody knows Rihanna much better than any of us knew Michael Jackson back in the day.
Well, Swalwell cut the cheese on air, so that I guess indicated he was human.
Who?
Or Eric Swalwell.
Oh, yeah. The
Fang's little boy toy.
world.
Oh, and he's out there saying that we have a choice between kids and guns, and Republicans have, or death and kids, and Republicans have told us over and over again who they stand with. And it's like, wait a minute, aren't you the people supporting Planned Parenthood?
We
Dude.
can't use
I mean,
logic.
Eric, this is the desperation that they need to spin the Michigan State narrative. See, you had two targeted mass violent events in the same day, right? The dude with the U-Haul in Bay Ridge, and this fucker.
The 42-year-old
Yeah, this fucker at Michigan State.
I wasn't gonna say.
Yeah, you're not gonna say it. You're not gonna say anything.
No.
It really busted the narrative of the left's view of who perpetrates all the rage and violence in this country. Fucked it all up again.
Did you
We've
know
had
that
multiple events of fucking it all up recently?
Did you know that in Austria, people are routinely fined for farting in public, and it is against the law to emit this is direct translation, provocative, end quote, fart. That's what you get fined for in Austria.
Dear Austria. Oh God, I'm sorry. They went after Elizabeth Sabotage-Wolf for the remarks she made about certain people having certain sexual emergencies and doing certain strange things. I don't know, all over Europe and that kind of thing.
No.
They can go. Austria, you gave us Hitler. We tried to overlook it.
Yeah, try that shit in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Let me know how it works for you.
Some people just have gas, all right? It happens. Some people are gas bags.
Yeah.
Germano-Austrian politicians tend to lead the pack.
Yeah. It's...
Oh, God, yes.
Austrians consider themselves to be Austrians. Germans always consider Austrians to be substandard Germans.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny relationship. It's kind of like a horrible reflection of what our relationship used to be like with Canada, where ours was good and nourishing and all that kind of stuff. It's never been easy between Austria and Germany. That's why they had all those little warlord states for so long.
I was going to say, and also one of them was Habsburg and the other wasn't.
Right. Habsburg
I always
family
thought it
was
was
very
because of
powerful.
the Sound of Music.
And also incredibly inbred. You look
No
at
doubt. Who's the one that the last Habsburg, the one who just looks...
Charles, God, was it Charles V? The one whose chin.
I think you're right. I think we're talking about the same one.
To his nose. Yeah, he has the recessive jaw displacement. His mother was his aunt, grandmother, cousin, and sister, or something. I mean, it was just
Here's the distinctive Habsburg jaw. That's what I was trying to.
Showed up the most in Spain.
HRE Charles V, who was actually Charles I of Germany.
Yeah, fifth in Austria, I guess. Oh no, HRE, was he Charles V of Spain, or Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire?
He was.
This isn't the Charles the First in England that they found under a parking lot.
No, and that's not who they found under a parking lot. Charles the First of England was beheaded.
Was it Charles II?
No, it was Richard the Third.
It was some guy that
Richard the Third.
They tore down Paradise and put up
Richard the Third. Yes, they paved Paradise and put up a parking lot.
And you know,
don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
Right. Okay. There you go.
Yes.
That is a chin.
Notice that Velasquez was kind of softened it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. Velasquez was a court painter, if I recall.
He was a court weasel. He sure was.
Yeah, he painted Las Meninas, which was the children of the court.
I mean, you look at the painting on the right is obviously, much more detailed, and frankly a better painting than the one on the left. The left is almost like a drawing, and
it's coming out of his neck.
Anyway, but you can see, just keep reinforcing those genes, the jaw gets longer and longer and longer. That's what happens with animal breeds where the hip dysplasia,
and they were infertile.
There's only so long you can double dip in the gene pool.
Yeah, and I mean the Habsburgs really did. Really did.
Don't you know that you
it's
had
not like the British Isles where you're talking about 30-second cousin. That's a nothing burger. When it
30-second cousin, that's pretty quick.
You know what I mean. Jerk.
But don't you know that they have to marry royalty, and the only royalty they know is themselves, because if they don't marry royalty themselves, they've learned in England.
That's exactly
that's
what the Egyptians did. The ancient Egyptians literally married their brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
yes,
and they
did.
Fuck themselves out of existence.
Literally. Pat had a club foot, one leg long.
He died young because he was 19. A mess.
Or he was a hypochondriac too. He complained constantly.
Well, he was a mess.
Tiresome. Oh, he was tiresome.
He didn't have a tongue.
But you should have seen.
Not what my prom date said.
What's the hieroglyph for "I just can't even"?
I am so over the tuts. Yeah, but the Ptolemaics weren't a whole lot better. They were better, but not a whole lot better. Yeah,
well, the Ptolemaic spans a long time.
Yeah, it does.
Between Ptolemy 1 and Ptolemy, 8 or whatever the hell it is.
Cleopatra.
There's a bunch of generations. There's a lot of change in Egypt.
Well, yeah, I mean, you ended up having to have another dynasty because the other literally did fuck itself out of existence.
Yep.
And
Cleopatra did do the kindness of getting Caesar and Mark Antony in there.
Well,
Gene pool.
but when the 13-year-olds keep dying of hemophilia, eventually the line will die out.
Yeah. Well, that's
just
what.
blame Moses.
Yeah, they
Right.
they just need
It's all
a-
about the Benjamins.
Or Victoria, because
I
that
probably
is-
shouldn't say that. Sorry about that. You know that I'm making fun of Ilhan Omar. You know that anybody who
I
is
know.
listening in and knows, that
Susan,
I'm very far. Hang on. I'm very far over one way on the Israel question. I'm very, very pro-Israel, very, very much a Zionist, and so I don't want anybody to have any questions about my making the comment. I'm making fun of Ilhan Omar. I just want to get that out there.
Yeah, and
Go ahead,
all about
Sarah.
the Benjamins was all about money at one point. Not meaning
It had nothing to do with anybody's
Jews
Jewish.
and money.
No, it didn't.
But
I like the
because
Weird
of-
Al parody of
Benjamin.
it better.
Yeah.
All about the
Benjamin.
Pentiums.
All
Yeah.
about the Pentiums.
Yep.
Pentiums.
That's some good humor. A bit. Yeah, if you want to make a joke that really won't hold up over time, basically make a joke about Pentium processors in the age of Moore's law. That's
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've got to tell you, Harry. At one point, I found myself in about 1995 at a large savings and loan, and in charge of procuring all new servers because we're converting a major mainframe application over to network, and so the executive vice president of the company, who is also the vice president in charge of ADP, as they called it, came down. And he says, "Now, how many pet names am I going to have to buy for this thing?" And I said, "Okay, you're talking about the Pentiums, you're talking about the processors, the computers, Pentium computers, oh God, this guy was so bad. He refused to even begin to learn anything about anything but his world, which was the world of mainframes. There was one significant application that continued to run on an ancient creaking mainframe that we had, and he would look at his green bar reports, and he would retotal the pages, I shit you not, with a calculator to make sure that the mainframe was getting it right. And the mainframe always got the page totals right. That's what he spent his morning doing, was drinking coffee and looking at those totals. Now, presumably he was reviewing numbers, but there were numbers pertaining to other departments that have nothing to do with him. It was a very strange thing. He was the one that I went to. I told them that when I got the offer, I had a really significant offer from, a Silicon Valley company that Harry knows the name of. And I told them for me to consider their counter, they had to fire him that night.
And you were still just considering, so they
That's
could
right.
fire somebody and still not get you.
The next day, he moved out of his office into a different office and was no longer in charge of the IT department. I mean,
that's not really firing. That's
no.
That's just giving him the Catholic priest treatment.
He
Benedict
got what the Japanese call a window office. A window office is what you get when you're kind of off the project and you're about to be terminated. They put you in a window office and you can just look out the window. That's how you spend your day. You don't get to work anymore. And that's basically what they did with him. So you got him out of my way. And then I considered the situation. I told him, I said, this is just a business decision. My opportunity is, I think this internet thing is going to go. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a future. They said, stay here.
Banks are safe. People always need banks.
$33,000 a year ain't nothing.
Well, it ain't something.
You know what your annual bonus there was? $100. Everybody got the same bonus.
Wow.
$100. Yeah.
That'll incentivize some performance.
Jeez. Anyway, how I do go on.
The wide world of banking.
Mm-hmm.
So many IT people I know started in banking.
Oh my God, it's a great place to be from because a lot of high stress, complicated things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
As you know only too well.
Yeah.
You know, Alex Murdoch was overdrawn over $300,000, and his bank magically made it that he had $400,000. So, not all banking's bad.
Is this that murder trial thing that's going on?
Yes, that's how I was just scratching my head. Is that the murder guy?
I think I've seen some Ricada.
Oh, he's much more
title
than a
thing.
murderer.
Okay.
Well, tell us about him.
Well, he had
Help
a
us out,
case.
chat.
So he was a lawyer. He's been disbarred. He embezzled money. Went flat broke. Killed his kid. Then killed his wife. Then had cousin Eddie, which his name being cousin Eddie just cracks me up.
Were these the first
Shoot him
people
in
he
the
killed?
head.
Does he kill people just like as a hobby, or?
I think he just kills loved ones with insurance policies.
Oh, one of those guys.
Or I guess I shouldn't say loved ones, because my parents have never tried to shoot me, and I've never tried to shoot my kids. So I guess
He wouldn't last long in my family. Just kidding.
ones that do not, they put the Benjamins before the dinner at 5:30, everyone at the table kind of people.
Fair enough.
He's a waste of space, and he can pretend cry all he wants. He's a cold-hearted murderer. Allegedly.
You know, the thing I keep coming back to, I don't really care anything about this Murdoch thing or this asshole off and his family and the whole thing.
I said allegedly.
I was just helping.
What was that, Skep?
I don't care anything about this guy Murdoch who's offing his family, other than he be stopped and
put away,
be given the help that he needs, and that help may take the form of an electric chair. That might be the best way we can help him.
It is in the Carolinas.
Let's help him that way.
Well,
let's give him the boost he needs.
This is how lovely the family is. His son flipped off a witness as the witness was testifying. Not the one he killed, the other son.
Mm-hmm. The one who's benefiting right now.
Number 9 in size, but number 1 in your heart.
Yes. I'd be more concerned on... We all know Earth is the greatest. So it needs to be bigger. Then we just have more insane people, and I just can't do that. Sorry, but I now get to decide. You know what, Harry? When I'm kicking people off the planet, you're not getting kicked off, but you're going to the Sahara Desert with no water, or vehicle, or sunscreen, or technology.
I have so many of these.
I just love this one so much. All right, so this is just not you. So many great planets.
You know, there once was a guy named Harry. I thought he was so wary.
I still like this one.
That
Of
chick
things you can do
naked?
with the heart. Yeah.
No, the naughty bits are showing.
She came in like a wrecking ball. It's Miley Cyrus.
Ugh.
Is that high mileage Cyrus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's been rode hard and put away wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this just in, Neil deGrasse Tyson is still an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, Harry, you'll be sorry when I'm gone one day, dead, and it was
yeah, I love that. It's lame. Pluto gives him 2 back. I can't remember what the hell it was that Dick tweeted recently that was just utterly unnecessary. Oh, it was the water half full, water half empty.
Yeah.
Pessimist optimist thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nobody cares about your emotional state.
all right, bye.
Kind of comment that he made. And it was like, says the guy whose Twitter account generally reflects an emotional state.
Yes,
Which-
Gray, I will.
God. Poor Pluto.
But Harry's all like, ooh, I'm so special. I can make fun of you. I can pick on the little planet.
More memes, Harry. More memes.
More memes.
We want more memes. I want more memes. I love your memes. You have the best memes.
I have lots of memes. I have to be careful though.
Yeah.
How many of them have I stolen from Assassin?
Assassin. Would you like
Yeah.
me to get them back for you?
Give him a pass.
The thing about
Don't
memes is
give
you never really know where they came from.
Right.
Because it's just like, they're just sort of become community property at a certain point.
Oh
There's a lot of co-invention too.
I
Yeah.
assume a 9-year-old thinks them up and then adults steal them from the 9-year-olds.
No, you're probably not wrong. All my good ones are on my damn iPad. I don't spend any time on my laptop anymore because the fucking video card bricked.
Yep. I know I've shown you this one, but I like the ones that have literally no words. Like, to me, this is a perfect meme.
Yes.
Birds are evil.
No, they're not.
That's just so wonderful.
Let's just eat it.
I mean, it's almost an exact.
Mhm.
You know what? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that one too.
But I know this is the one that I know breaks Prospero every time she sees it.
Yeah. I love that so much. I love that so much.
Oh, me.
I mean, puns are just the worst. They really are.
No, they're not.
That's
No,
not
they
I
are
know I've
not.
shown you this one.
The Texorcist, yeah.
Oh, get on now. Well,
that's
where are you, girl?
What's with that micro penis they drew it for his fly? That's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, not everything's bigger in Texas, I guess.
Looks like drugstore cowboy
It
anyway.
really is a micro.
And his
Looks like televangelist
What's wrong
cowboy.
with his foot?
it was his boot says 2 + 6.
But that's supposed to be a symbolic representation of what we call manly footwear down here.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Jerry Jeff Walker song lyric callback? Some people call manly footwear.
Hey, if you can find a comfortable pair of boots, by all means, wear them. One of the most comfortable pieces of footwear I ever had was a set of boots. Cowboy boots.
Yeah. Broken boots?
Yeah, and I mean
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I could walk in them all day long.
Yeah, you can't. That's what they're made for. Right.
Back never got tired, never hurt. My feet didn't hurt.
Your feet didn't hurt. That was the thing. Yeah.
But my back didn't bother me. It had just the right heel.
It was decently made boot.
Oh, yes, it was.
I used to wear boots.
Those boots were made for walking, and that's just what they do.
And one of these days, these boots are going to walk on.
I'm going to shout out.
That was terrifying. That was terrifying.
So, I wasn't allowed to watch the State of the Union.
It was gross. It just was gross.
Why were you not allowed to watch the State of the Union, Jenna?
I get a little
wound up.
And then my oxygen drops.
So
I sounds like a good medical call.
Reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you're like Prospero and me.
Yeah, I mean, I just am like, oh, good, the State of the Onion is tonight, and I can't watch the blooming thing.
But I did
the blooming onion. I saw
the next day highlight, and that was
flip it in there.
Weird.
Yeah, I can't watch it when the speakers are poor, like they've been for a good long while now.
I was going to say.
I could not. Barack Obama's cadence drove me crazy.
Go back and listen to Reagan's.
Oh God, yes. No, see,
first couple of State of the Union. They're inspiring. Inspiring.
Yep. I mean, I weathered a couple of Trumps, and it was. Clinton actually was a good speechifier. He just went on too long.
I hate Trump with that revival cadence of it. No, I like a winner. I like the guy who did captured. Fuck you.
Yeah.
With malice. That was when Trump bought it with me.
And Obama's.
And I hate my cane.
Cadence was just awful because it was teleprompter reliant.
Yeah.
So it developed this pattern that was like iambic manometer fed through a teleprompter. Iambic teleprompter, I guess, would be the rhythm. HW drove me crazy. W drove me crazy because he fell all over his words.
As defense as
he could speak. This is the thing that pissed me off about W. He could speak extemporaneously.
Oh yeah, he's a good salesman.
Very well.
Yeah.
As a speech impediment. As a person with also a speech impediment, all I have to say is it's not easy being green.
Okay.
Kermit.
Yep.
Yes. We recognized it. What does
if
that
I
have
had
to
my
do
banjo, I would play it for you.
I thought you were supposed to say it. It's not easy being green.
Well, I didn't want the harassment and bullying you all would have given me.
For saying green?
Did you just say sanguine?
I know. I just said for saying green, and it came out like sanguine.
Where are you from, girl?
I'm the South.
It really does come out sometimes.
Which is why I can turn saying green into sanguine.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A little bit
interesting.
There's a tiny bit of there
Yeah.
that left, but not much. Most of it.
I'm sure when you get really angry, you either go full Southern or
Southern.
you have that accent.
Southern. I go full Southern. When
Yeah,
I
you
am
do. You
pissed as
absolutely
shit,
do.
I go full Southern.
Yeah.
I'm hopping mad.
And it's not Scarlet and Rets. It's the Virginia version of Southern. It's real. It's real Virginian.
Well,
you really sound like some of the people I went to school with who were lifelong Virginians, and you really
with some
have
Floridian,
picked up that.
There is some Floridian. I will occasionally go instead of and there's a difference. I can hear it in my ears. When I get really pissed off, I'll get flatter. But yeah, Virginia has its own cadence.
Oh, sure. Virginia, my God, the Virginia accents actually vary by practically which side of the hill you're on.
Yeah, they're 5 clear ones. Northern, non-existent. Tidewater, Greater Richmond, South Side, and Southwestern.
Southwestern, yeah, the Southwestern accent.
Because the Southwestern accent is
the Bristol stop.
I have no idea what they're saying most of the time.
How do you say oil?
No one does.
Oil.
Congratulations.
Do you say, who says Earl? Do you say Earl?
No, I don't.
No, not you, Prospero. I'm talking to Jenna. Jenna, do you say Earl?
I don't know what. Like
oil? You say
Earl?
oil? You say oil or Earl?
Oil.
Okay.
Oil. It's more oil.
Well, that's my.
The farther up north you get
you get the E sound, the oil.
It's more oil.
Oil. Yeah.
I've heard Earl out of Texans.
Earl?
I've never heard that from a Texan, but I have heard that from a Brooklynite.
Yes.
And
but
even
also
though that's considered a Bronx affectation. I actually had to look that up. I thought it was just going to be that substitution it says that's specific to the Bronx for some reason. So I'm going to find out more about that. Yeah.
Greater Yonkers.
Yeah, I know.
Can't pronounce it.
Yeah. You cut off on the east side of Yankee Stadium, you know.
Yeah, that's specific to the Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But if you think about it, if you think of Brooklyn, you don't have a single accent in Brooklyn.
No, absolutely polyglot.
You've got so much money. So much money is moved into Park Slope. You've got Williamsburg. You have what was always considered the typical cadence of Brooklyn was Jewish.
Yeah, was the Bernie Sanders style,
or Italian. Or Italian, even though that was also Queens and the Bronx.
Of course, Italy was Southern Manhattan too.
Yeah, but Lower Manhattan. But where was the Diamond District? Lower Manhattan.
Well, yeah.
And then you had people made good down there.
That's because that's where the financial
finance was. But then you also had people make good and go up to the east side. So I've never heard anybody attribute an accent to Staten Island.
No, no. Staten Island was a getaway place. It's kind of become urban sprawl, unfortunately. But Staten Island, I remember being up there in about 1980 or so, 82, and Staten Island was still nice. It's very different from all the other boroughs.
It's still a red borough. It's still a red borough. It's a working class borough.
I think I'm going to try to name all 5.
Working class electricians, plumbers, that kind of, guys who can make some bank. Guys who can make some bank.
Manhattan.
In the trades.
Bronx.
But,
that place.
You have some memories.
See, this is
Spent some time on Staten Island.
This is
Jenna,
how New York did it wrong.
You want to know the 5? It's Staten Island, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx.
That was mostly right.
Those are the 5. And then you have Nassau and County button in next to Queens and Brooklyn. And then out on the island is Suffolk County. But they don't
one thing about Long Island, it's a long goddamn island.
One island, depending upon whether you're in Nassau or Suffolk.
You know,
one island. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's the Brooklyn accent pushing its way out. Long Island. I live in Long Island.
This is how they should have done it. All right.
Shelby Gefilte Fish Gutfucker lives on
Italians
Long Island.
in the
What a surprise.
Irish in the South, and everyone else in Somerville.
Yeah, except, man, Southeast changed, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
I couldn't believe. I took a look. I took a look at the map of Boston. Skep, when was the last time you were in Boston?
Last time I was in Boston was...
He didn't say hi to me.
2014, I think.
Oh, so it's been after I've been in town. I was really, really surprised by like where Anthony's Pier 4 and Jimmy's Harborside were, Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
That area with the condos and the whole hoo-ha, like leading over to Southie. I was like, holy shit. And Dorchester is getting like revitalized, which means
but there's been unenlivened there the last 5 nights. So,
oh, how nice!
Yeah,
I never knew that Whitey Bulger off somebody in Anthony Pier 4's parking lot. I was kind of impressed.
Allegedly.
No, he did. He's gone. Okay, Whitey's done. Bye-bye.
Do we need a post-mortem allegedly?
No, we don't need to post-mortem allegedly.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Someone from my family was most likely helping him.
I don't want his estate to be suing Rejected Hammer.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I know all of us feel a lot better as a result of that.
Yeah, well,
and don't worry, I got an in.
Yeah, thank you, Jenna. Yeah,
well,
we'd really rather
cross that off my list of worries, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
See, every time we went in, every time I went into town to see my cardiologist, because I was so special, I got to go to Mass General like twice a year as a kid because it was like really important. It's kind of cool. Nobody else got to do it. The appointments were scheduled, God knows when. I don't know if it was like right after school or whether they took me out of school. I don't remember. It was so routine to me at that point that I didn't remark it like as to remember every moment of it. But we'd go to Anthony's Pier 4 afterwards. They had the most awesome popovers. There's an amazing view of the harbor and the airport. But, you know, a kid, great seafood, awesome popovers. This is what I recall. I only went to Jimmy's Harborside one time in my entire life.
The no name.
Oh, no, because, I mean, Jimmy's, there was like 2 camps. Anthony's Pier 4, Jimmy's Harborside. Which did you prefer? Now, see, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor had gone to Anthony's Pier 4, which put it on the map. And at one time, it was the nation's largest grossing restaurant with 12 million in receipts in a year.
Wow.
But that's nothing now.
puts a fella in mind of thinking.
Yeah. I wonder if that address is still good.
You don't have to inflate it much down at sea level. Hardly have to blow it up at all.
Damn straight.
$2, huh?
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. Tremendous 30-foot below.
Limited time offer, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do need to check to see if that place is still in business and if the Chinese have a restaurant over top of it.
It's interesting. That's kind of the meaning of life. It's a limited time offer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a limited time offer. We've been going at this for over 2 hours. I want to thank my panel for joining me this evening and thank chat for coming in and showing up. It's great to see you, and we do this for you. We'll do it again next week, and of course, we'll be back on Saturday, and then again on Tuesday. Thanks for coming out. The zoo is closed. Good night, everybody, and have a pleasant tomorrow.